Hello everyone, I hope that you are having a great day. I know I am, and today I will be discussing the small market team that seems to be stuck in the middle every year. If you saw the thumbnail or read the title of the video, you will know that I am talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizz have been one of the best teams of the 2010s, making the playoffs in each of the last 7 seasons under the core of Marc Gasol, Mike Conley, Zach Randolph, and Tony Allen. However, Memphis let both Zebo and Allen walk this past offseason, setting up the stage for an all-out rebuild. But the thing is, up until this point in the season, Memphis has remained optimistic in their average roster to produce above-average results. Grizzlies general manager Chris Wallace has become very stubborn about trading their 2 stars in Conley and Gasol, which has led to many to question his rationale for having faith in players that have shown that they can't get deep into the playoffs. The thing is, I think that Mr. Wallace's philosophy is business first, team success second. Conley and Gasol have become fan favorites in Memphis. The people there love them. They're why people come to Grizzlies games. And while I think that everyone should at least respect what they've been able to do for all these years, it's pretty safe to say that their run is over. I understand the short-term concern that Wallace feels because, yeah, the revenue and fans coming to the game may suffer over the next 2 to 3 years if the Grizz decide to blow it up. But the thing is, in 5 to 10 years, Memphis could have a legitimate star and be competing for championships, something that has not been able to be said in the 23-year history of the franchise. So looking at the players on their roster, obviously Gasol and Conley are both valuable as trade assets, but they also have a guy in Tyreke Evans who has been playing very well this season. I could see teams like the Thunder, Raptors, Blazers, and Spurs all wanting a scoring wing that could be a ball handler off of the bench. Out of all those teams that I just mentioned, I think that Toronto would be the best fit. A package of something like Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, and a second-round pick is something that I could see benefit both teams. VanVleet and Siakam are both young and have both been currently playing well off of the bench. Also, Toronto currently is sitting pretty at the number 1 seed in the East, so if they want to retain that spot, they could surely use a scorer like Evans off of the bench. Quick video correction here. The Raptors are not the number 1 seed, they are the number 2 seed. Anyways, on with the video. Furthermore, I think that Evans may be pretty easy to give up because he's only on a 1-year deal, meaning that teams aren't locked into a long contract if things don't work out. Now, you could get decreased value since he's on a 1-year deal, but he's Tyreke Evans, not LeBron James. I think that as long as you can get some young players with solid potential, I think that you've made out just fine. Another guy that could have some value for them in a trade would be JaMychal Green. Green is a player that I think just about every team could use, and over the past several seasons, Green has embraced the grit and grind mentality of the Grizzlies. While he would definitely be valuable, and I think that you could shop him in return for some value, I would personally opt to keep Green on my roster if I were Memphis. I think that he still has room to grow, and if you're able to surround him with young stars in the coming years, I think that he could be the perfect Draymond Green type of role player for a championship contending team. If the Grizz were to trade him, I definitely think that they could find some suitors. One team that comes to my mind immediately as a potential suitor would be the Denver Nuggets, obviously due to Paul Millsap being out for at least the next 2 to 3 months. The Nuggets definitely have no shortage of young guys on their roster. Guys like guards Gary Harris, Jamal Murray, Emmanuel Mudiay, and a pair of stretch fours in Juan Hernangomez and Trey Lyles. If I were the Grizzlies, if you could get Harris or Murray in a trade, I would say that would be definitely the ideal move for them. But realistically, I don't think a trade that any of those guys would be a trade that the Nuggets would accept. I personally am not a huge fan of Emmanuel Mudiay because, his jumper is a little bit iffy, so I wouldn't accept a trade of JaMychal Green for Mudiay. I also don't think that Denver would be willing to give up Lyles because they just recently traded for him from Utah, but maybe if the Grizzlies would sweeten the deal with maybe adding a second-round pick or another player, then I could see that deal working out. However, Juan Hernangomez is a very interesting piece, and he's shown some flashes of being a great role player on the right team. If I were the Grizz, I would consider accepting a trade of something like Green for Hernangomez and maybe a second-round pick thrown in there. With all that being said, as I stated before, I still wouldn't trade JaMychal if I were Memphis because I think he can be a very good role player if Memphis can build up a good foundation in the next 3 to 5 years. Unfortunately for them, a full-blown rebuild in which they blow everything up is really going to be tough because they are tied up to Mike Conley for at least the next 3 years. By the time his contract is up, he will be 34 years old. Thus, I don't think he can be a part of your rebuild, so you would think that the obvious move would be to trade him, but at the same time, as good of a player as he is, nobody wants him because of his massive contract that he signed back in the offseason of 2016. So, Memphis GM Chris Wallace, my man, there's really no clear path to a successful rebuild here, but I think that if you can possibly get enough from Gasol, Tyreek, and possibly JaMychal Green, I think that that'll be the first step towards a successful rebuild. I still think their pick would be in the lottery, even if they choose not to blow it up, but the difference between something along the lines of the number 11 pick and potentially something like the number 3 pick is substantial. As long as the Grizzlies play their cards right, I could see them develop into a playoff team as early as 2021 and about as late as 2025. I mean, if they really wanted to tank on a Sixers type of level, then over the next 4 to 6 years in the draft, they could acquire 2 or 3 stars. I don't want to speculate on who those could be, but if they could get a guy like Michael Porter Jr. or a Marvin Bagley from Duke, who reminds me a bit of Gasol in his playstyle, I think that would be the first step in a Grizzlies process that really needs to happen. With all that being said, I think we're at the end of the road, so I hope you did enjoy this video discussing the Grizzlies' future. This is my first NBA-themed type of video that I have done in a while. I mean, I believe it's the first NBA video that I've done in about a month, so I've been procrastinating a bit on those videos. However, I am now officially on winter break from school, so that will give me a little bit more time to make videos covering both the NBA and NFL. So, if you enjoyed this video, then please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. If you would like to be notified of when I upload a video, then please click the bell in the bottom right hand corner to receive those. Also, feel free to share your thoughts of the video down in the comments section. Merry late Christmas and Happy New Year, and you all have a great day.
Take that for data.